Hello and welcome to another month of the Single Cask Club. Welcome to our new members and a hello to obviously our existing members as well. My name's Guy. I'm here at the Strongwater Co. 78 High Street in Banbury, our number one shop, and we're also at 2 Bridge Street in Ballater and of course in a box and all over the world. So how this works: dram number one, dram number two. Talk a little bit about the whiskey, and then have a little taste as well. So, what's going on this month? The Spirit of Scotland release from Gordon MacPhail seems to go very well. The Aberfeldy and the Pulteney, they were great. So we'll be having more of them to come. They seem brilliant, great value. So look forward to sharing lots more of them. Tasting room in Ballater, we're almost complete. My wife's imminent with our second child, so once we get that, very exciting, done, we shall get the tasting room open and working, which will be very exciting. And then we've also got Springbank tasting, which we're going to launch. We're going to have that in August. We will have one in Banbury and one in Ballater as well. So this month, a brand new, we quite often have new whiskies. So this month, here is a new dram. So this is from, you may have seen it online. This is from Little Brown Dog. So this is their first core release. So this is their Aberdeenshire single malt. So we were with Chris and Andrew just last week talking about this, and we were talking about some other cask selection for some things that we're doing as well. And here's what's really interesting: is they've forever done single cask strength bottlings, and they don't just want to keep on throwing out more and more single cask strength bottlings to kind of tire. They don't want to tire that market. So what they've done here is they've gone to their most local distillery, which is Glengeary, which is a 10-minute drive from where the warehouse is, or where they are in Fettineer. And this is a 12-year-old Glengeary, and it's their Aberdeenshire single malt. So bottled at 46%, natural colour, non-chill filter. This is 60% first fill bourbon, 40% sherry, so it's PX and Oloroso sherry that's in there. And it's a real balance of, I don't think it's very classic Glengearian style. I think it's got more kind of caramel, kind of toffee style notes in it. But yeah, it's a great nod to them not just becoming bottlers, they're really stepping into becoming whiskey makers, because they've taken a vast range of casks and they've made this whiskey, which I think is very, very exciting. So this is kind of the batch one of it. They've got batch two in cask, kind of the selection is ongoing, and then batch 3 as well is ongoing as well. So hopefully this will be something that will be always on the shelves in both shops and always available. So a 50 quid shelf price, it's amazing for a 12-year-old of that style. So yeah, and then the label, this is their new label design. So they've got the silhouette of Benahee. They've got the Little Brown Dog in the barley field that you can see from the farm up to Benahee behind them there as well. So a lovely kind of design thing, quite simple, quite effective, and as they describe it as an affine vatting of bourbon, Oloroso and PX sherry cask, which I think is very, very true. So we'll have a taste of it. So on the nose, it's very kind of pastry, buttery, kind of shortbread, with a good bit of kind of, it's almost got quite a right bit of tannin, which tannin spice is the kind of thing that you'd expect from Glengeary, a kind of orangey spice. I think it has some of it, but not too much there. The sherry, I think, kind of weighs in at the back to bring some balance, and we'll give it a try. It's got a really lovely kind of tart appliness to it. The spice rolls initially, but then the sherry comes in and catches it and kind of pulls it away from there. This lingering kind of burbling oak tannin spices in the background is lovely. It's caramelly, it's appley, it's pastry, it's got almost a bit of red fruit notes. apple, toffee apple, coming into this spicy, rolling oak element, and then it becomes more aptly, and it's like a red currant berries. It's kind of almost, it's like wild raspberries. It's got that slight muskiness of it, but not all the way. It's just a little hint of it. And yeah, I think that's for, it's on the shelf at 50 quid, club price 45 quid. I think Andrew and Chris, cheers to you guys. You've done rather well there. So enjoy that, and we shall get to dram number 2. Cheers. So dram 2, we're pal Finn Thompson. So Finn Thompson, 9th generation of the Thompson family to be involved in whiskey. Finn's great grandfather did a lot of blending stuff, so that's what he now does. Single cask strength edition. So this one was released just kind of the back end of last year. This was it's a peated Ardnamurchan. Ardnamurchan's a very kind of new age distillery. They've got their own biomass from trees cut down on Ardnamurchan, which are then fed into the biomass to heat the stills. They have their own hydro. The pot ale is piped 3 miles away back to feed the cows. All the kind of all goes back in to feed. All the waste from the distillery goes back to feed the cows. So if you ever see Ardnamurchan beef on a recipe, give it a try, because it's fed by whiskey waste and it's delicious. So this was distilled on the 14th of July 2017. It was bottled on the 7th of August 2025 as an 8-year-old, bottled at 56.4% after a full maturation in refill bourbon. It's this is 50. So Ardnamurchan produces 50% peated, 50% non-peated. This is from the 50% peated version that Ardnamurchan do. So what I love about this particular whiskey is peat as a young, vibrant element. I think is good, and we needed to have something that was a contrast to soft, delicate, bourbony, sherry Glengarry. So big, heavy Ardnamurchan. But on the nose, I don't think it's too over the top. I think there's quite a fresh, spirited kind of element to it. There's a classically real damp kind of harbour salty rope. They say that the sea air can affect it, and I was listening to something recently about Alex Bruce, one of the owners of Ardnamurchan, saying how actually when it rains on the warehouses, he does think some of the salinity of that creeps in, and there are certain casks that definitely pick up more of that characteristic. So I think this is probably one of them where it has picked up some of that harbour saltiness to it, and then it's just kind of wafts of damp oak, and it's like a damp wax jacket. Really, it's got this oiliness to it, and this classic kind of Dunwich warehouse style on the palate. It's this really lovely bright green apple sherbet to start off with. Bright, acidic, appley, sherbety, tingly across the tongue. It then comes straight into this kind of more funky kind of oak style, which turns more kind of crunchy green apple, and then the smoke kind of starts piling in, and it's kind of gentle at first, but really builds into this kind of smoked almond, kind of slightly burnt kind of Balmoral bread, toasty, sort of really big malty like the damp oak embers of it all. The peat's there, but I feel it's quite balanced. The acidity and the kind of freshness of that, the kind of appley, oily element really help pull that through. And the finish, I think, is refined. I think the peat is fairly harmonious with everything else. Peat and vanilla are kind of combining very well there, and kind of everything's kind of pulling in. So yeah, I think that's another great dram. So that's 82.50 on the shelf with 15% off. So mid 70s is where that one sits. So another kind of peated dram, but something I think for summer as well. So yeah, very good, really. So I hope you enjoy them and have a lovely May. And we shall see you in June, probably with some very summery drams and something to enjoy, hopefully in the sunshine. So have a lovely month. Don't forget to make the most of the 10% off if you enjoy anything, not just these, off all the whiskies, the normal whiskies. So yeah, enjoy them, and we shall see you next month. Cheers.